Hello, my name is Matthew Walker. I am a registered dietitian at Food and Friends, and welcome to Nutrition in the Kitchen. In this series, I will be showing you ways that you can make healthy, delicious meals using many of the ingredients that we send in our Groceries to Go meal program. This week, we will be making a twist on one of the favorites from our frozen meals program, salmon cakes. From the ingredients we send, you will need celery, an onion, canned salmon, lemons, and mayonnaise. Additionally, you will need eggs, breadcrumb, dill, mustard, and a hot sauce of your choice. Here, I'm using Old Bay. We'll start by chopping and sautéing our veggies. A good kitchen knife and quality board are the most important tools in the kitchen, but the first step in preparing produce is to wash it. This helps make sure that your vegetables are clean of dirt and pesticides, so make sure to scrub it well. When chopping celery, first trim the leafy tops and white stems off. It is useful to keep a bowl nearby for scraps. When cutting, keep your fingers out of the way by bridging them over the top of the knife, or curling your fingertips under your knuckles when chopping. This creates a fine dice with a low risk of including any of your fingers in the final product. With practice and a little video editing, you'll be chopping lightning fast. When dicing an onion, first cut it in half through the root, again keeping your fingers back. This creates a flat surface so you can chop without it rolling around. There's no need to wash an onion. Simply peel off the thin outer layers until you reach a smooth, shiny layer. A good tip for cutting onions without crying is to put them in the freezer for a couple minutes before chopping. Once you've peeled both halves of your onion, chop off the top ends of each, but leave the root end intact. Then make parallel slices most of the way through the onion towards the root. Make one cut sideways in the same direction. A sharp knife is very helpful for this, and also can help reduce tears when cutting. Once you've made the initial slices, place the point of the knife on the board and, with fingers curled, rock the blade to dice your onion. Here, I'm using a red onion, but this would work just as well with a yellow onion or even shallots or scallions. Discard the root end once you've chopped up all the usable onion and move it into a pile so it looks good for the camera. To sauté our veggies, heat a non-stick or stainless steel frying pan over medium heat. Add a little olive oil to the pan and spread it around to heat the oil up. It's very important to get the pan hot before adding food that you're going to cook. You should hear a strong hiss when you add your onions and celery. That sound is the water in the vegetables rapidly evaporating. Once they're in the pan, move them around to make sure that they are all exposed to the heat. You can do this by stirring or tossing. To toss, shake the pan to push the veggies down the front lip, then flick the pan up and back and then down and forward to catch. You can practice this technique with dry rice in a cool pan, or you can just stir it. A rubber spatula is a good tool for the job, but a wooden spoon would also work very well. Try not to use metal utensils with non-stick pans. Continue cooking your onions and celery for 5 to 10 minutes until they have some browning color and have softened. Give them one last toss to impress people, and then set them aside for later. Now we can start building the cakes. In a bowl, start to take the salmon out of the can before realizing that you should drain it first. Good job, Matt, you're doing great. Now put the salmon chunks into the bowl and flake them with a fork. While you're doing this, you may notice that there are bones in with the meat. Don't worry about picking them out. The canning process breaks these down, so they will fall apart while flaking and aren't really noticeable in the final dish. Salmon is a great source of protein, as well as healthy, unsaturated fats that are high in omega-3s. Once the fish is nicely flaked, add 2 tablespoons dill, 1 tablespoon of mustard, and 1 cup of breadcrumbs. You can add more breadcrumbs if you find that the mixture is too sticky. Next, you'll want to add 2 beaten eggs. When you crack eggs, always do so on a flat surface to avoid contamination. Beat them together until they're the same color all the way through, and then add them to your full mixture. Stirring both around the bowl and with an up and down motion helps break up the yolks faster. Next, add your hot sauce. You can use any kind that you want, but I'm using Old Bay for 2 reasons. 1, because it goes well with fish, and 2, because I was born in Baltimore. Add as much or as little as you like, but as you can see, I like it spicy. Mix that together, and then add back in the sautéed onions and celery that have now been cooled down. Once that's been thoroughly mixed, you want to slice a lemon and squeeze it into the mixture. Slicing long ways makes squeezing easier. You can also squeeze the middle section through your fingers. This lets you catch any seeds that might otherwise end up in the bowl or in a bite. Mix this together and move on to the next step before realizing you forgot to add a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. Mix in the mayo, and then we can start making patties. To make patties, first form a ball of the mixture in your hands a little smaller than a baseball, rolling it to get it smooth, and then press it down from the middle and smooth out the edges. You'll want to make sure your hands are very clean before doing this. Of course, you should be washing your hands before you make food anytime, but you'll definitely want to wash them even better afterwards. This much mixture should make about 5 to 6 patties, each of which is good enough for a meal for 1 person. This method of shaping can also be used to make potato cakes, burgers, sausage patties, falafel, or really any disc-shaped food. Once your patties are made and ready to go, you can heat up the same pan from earlier, again over medium heat, and add in some more olive oil, swirling to coat the pan. Now, try to lift the patties with just a spatula, realize that's not going to work, and give them a little boost. Place them in the hot oil, accidentally turn the flame off, and reveal your face to the audience by mistake. Fry the patties for 3 to 4 minutes on each side. This would be a good time to mix up a sauce, or do a couple dishes, or just stand there awkwardly on camera while it cooks. A good sauce to top this with would be a mixture of some more lemon juice, mayo, dill, and hot sauce to taste. Or you can serve it with a lemon wedge to squeeze over the top. Once a golden brown crust starts to form on the bottom, flip and repeat on the other side, and you're done. We got Saskia, our volunteer coordinator, to try this salmon cake, and here's what she had to say.
Yeah, so it was really good. It was soft on the inside, it was crunchy on the outside, and the sauce made it was really tangy and creamy, and it rounded it all out. So good.
Thank you, Saskia.
Hmm.
Booyah.
We did it. We're such